Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Miss Justice, number one. All right. Much love, PG. Much love to you, girlfriend. Good to see you in here. She's been. Miss Justice has made a bleed out PG this year. We got 2 days to Christmas, and she's still at the top of the list. All right. Hey, Texas Blue, number two. Hey, that rhymed. Texas Blue number two. And she's 22 too. Right. God bless. Good to see you in here. Good to see you in here. And she says, PG, much love to you. Number three, Karen. All right. There we go. She is number three. And Mama Homestead is number four. There we go. Hello, PG in chat. Hello to you. Good to see you guys. God bless. All right. Who else we got? Oh, and there's our sweet Australia right there. How's it going, girlfriend? Good to see you. PG, much love to you, girl. You know it. And let's see. I'm heading down through here, y'all. You know what? I'm just gonna pop it up as we go. All right. Why not? Why not? After all, it's a couple of days till Christmas. Hey, Granny's house. How you doing, sweetie? Good to see you. Good to see all you guys. Soaring free. There you are. God bless. I'm just going to pop them all up. All right. There's Parker. Good to see you, sweetie. Good to see you. Good to see everybody in here tonight. No summer, no peace. Every child's life matters. Amen. Amen. A2167, how you doing tonight? Good to see you, sweetie. Good to see you. God bless and much love. All right. We're going to the bottom, you guys. Aw, summer. That's beautiful. Justice for Summer Moon, Utah Wells. Amen. Amen. Welcome. Hit that like, please. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Hit the thumbs up. If you ain't hit it, hit it. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. God bless you. I'm bringing you up, Australia. How you doing, girlfriend?
I'm good, PG. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
It's Christmas here tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely. Sure is.
I've got my pork out defrosting.
We're gonna do a hey Lynn, how you doing, sweetie? We're gonna do a little something for Summer and the missing kids tomorrow night.
Oh, that's nice.
I was gonna come in for a little while and have a little Christmas Eve.
I'll try and make it.
Yeah, I sure hope you do. I sure hope you do.
It's just the kids and I tomorrow, so
Right.
I'll be serving lunch about this time tomorrow. Or dinner, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, right.
Or maybe around 6. I don't know.
You know,
I'll talk to them tonight.
If I can, I'll try to make it in a little bit earlier tomorrow. You know, so it doesn't interfere with, you know.
My favorite part of Christmas is Christmas Eve.
Well, usually I host a big Christmas Eve party at my home, you know, lots of family and friends and stuff and so forth. But we're not doing that this year because we're at Ronald's. This year I'm at Ronald's house. The two uncles are here. My husband, my kids, myself, you know, there's quite a few of us here staying in the guest house out here.
Nice.
But we've had a really good time. We've had a really good time. All the guys are out. All the guys are out. I don't know where they're at, what they're doing, but they all went out tonight.
You need to take it easy.
And oh yeah, I'm here with the kids. I'm here with the kids at the guest
Get
house.
them. You get them to do everything for you.
Yeah. You know, I'll be honest with you. Um, the kid's uncle, I mean, he has been following me around like crazy, right? He's been following me around like crazy. And always like I'd rather do everything for myself. He's like, and I tell him, I say, why do you follow me around like this, you know? And he's like, somebody's got to watch you. You'll be lifting everything. You'll be doing everything, you know? And I'm like,
I agree with him.
he's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, like treat me like I'm 2 years old. Like I'm going to do something, you know, if I walk into a room.
Worried. He's just worried about you.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, he don't want to get left. He don't want to get
He's
left.
playing mother hen.
He don't want to get left raising 4 kids. Right.
He's playing mother hen with you.
That's it. He don't want to get stuck with his niece and nephews. Right.
My brother's like that too, overprotective with me all the time.
Actually,
Dad's gone to Queensland to see my brother and my niece
right.
and my great niece. I couldn't go because we had to spend the money on the move.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Oh, that's all right. I'm having one-on-one time with Dad after Christmas. After the New Year, I'm flying over to New Zealand.
Oh, that will be so wonderful. Is Maddie going with you?
Probably not.
Oh.
No. I think I want one-on-one time with my dad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I understand that.
I'll probably want him to myself for a while.
Right.
Always sharing him.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand, you know. Sometimes you just need that
Daddy's
time.
girl.
Right?
It's been a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope you have a lot of fun. I hope your dad looks like he's in really good health, and he looks like he could be, a real
He's just signed up for another 5-year contract for work.
Oh, wow.
In Melbourne, and Sydney and Queensland.
Right.
Working on the football stadiums, the fire exits.
Right. Well, there you go.
And teaching all the young people because he's a professor.
Exactly.
He's a very important man, and he's turning 80. I can't believe him.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
So he'll be working until he's 85.
He's touched a lot of lives. But I think people should, I know people can retire, at a certain age, but
he won't.
But
he won't. He says if he stops it, he'll die.
I don't think anybody should be forced. That's what I was going to say.
No.
I don't think anyone should be forced into retirement. I think that, if you want to take it, if you're ready to sit down, and do some other things, maybe travel and live life a little, bit at the end there. I say, absolutely do what you want. That's your choice.
Absolutely, yeah.
Don't let no one push you.
I think he's wonderful. I told him how proud I am of him.
Right. Because,
still using that brain of his.
Well, it's social interaction too. And really, your job is basically your main social interaction outside the home now. It's not like, it's not like it used to be. It's not like, neighbors, come and sit on the porch and talk and, and everything. I mean, I remember going to my grandparents' house and with my parents, and they'd be a porch full of people, and talking and carrying on, and sometimes they have coffee and lemonade and everything, and sometimes people be singing songs, and the kids would all be playing, and it was a real good time. But it hit into the 2000s, and it seemed like um
Yeah, everything's changed now.
nobody's porch was full anymore, and
Everything's changed, hasn't it?
yeah, yeah, it really has. It
You
really,
can't go outside anymore and sit in the park and have
no,
Christmas carols and
no.
be safe and sing.
I'm going to tell you, in the 90s, you could go out, you could sit outside and play
Yeah, you
outside
can do
and
anything.
hang, and then it got into the early 2000s. Well, the 90s got pretty bad because it got really bad. The schools got really
Exactly.
bad. You know, it.
Didn't we have that first terrorist attack of um the white powder? Remember the white powder going through the air vents, anthrax?
You're talking about the planes that hit New York City?
No, the one before that.
I don't remember one
It
before.
was called, it was anthrax, I think.
Oh yeah, when they was sending that stuff through the mail.
Yeah.
Um, some
And
type
people were
of.
just dying. People were dying off because
Yeah,
they,
I heard about that. I don't know if anybody passed away from that or not. I mean, I heard
and
about
then
it.
and then the terrorist attacks on the towers.
I don't.
That was the worst.
I remember the planes
Yeah, that
on
was
New York
terrible. I
City.
remember that too.
I remember, hearing about that. Be careful. Getting the mail and stuff like that. Um, I remember my mother telling us that to don't lick no stamps. That's what she is telling us. Don't lick envelopes. Don't lick stamps. Make sure you dip your finger in water and put it on it to stick it, um, or because of somebody was doing something to the envelopes and the stamps and stuff. I
Yeah,
don't know. I
I remember
remember
that.
I remember her telling me, if I found any old stamps or anything like that, or if I was going to mail an envelope or something, just don't lick it. And you know, they make everything self stick now, but
Not back then, I remember.
right. And
Mum used to work at the post office.
so you know, in the 90s, they wasn't self stick either. They was, I don't know about the stamps. I didn't never mess with stamps because I didn't ever really mail. I wasn't into mailing no letters. You know, I didn't have nobody to mail a letter to.
The
Right.
world started getting
So,
really rough towards the end of the 90s into the early 2000s, and things have just gotten even worse since then.
but I remember her saying, like Christmas cards, when it came to Christmas cards and and envelopes and stuff, to be careful around them. I remember, I heard about the white powder somewhere, at some point, but that stuff that
That
was
was a bioterrorism.
right. I don't know. I don't
And we
know.
just and Australia just had one recently at Bondi Beach. That was awful.
But I do know in the 90s that, It was getting really bad. They were taking, the kids. They started, putting everybody in these school uniforms, um, because because of the violence. It got so violent. People would, you know, um, take your coat, take your shoes. You couldn't have. It got to the point you couldn't have anything. You couldn't wear your shoes and your coat because it might get taken from you on your way to school or your way home from school. And so it got pretty bad. And it was pretty bad in school. It was pretty bad in school. They didn't. It could be pretty violent. It got pretty violent in the school system. And if you wasn't, I guess you would say as mean as the other kids, you know, it wouldn't be good for you. You had to be pretty tough, you had to be really tough and mean to make it through the school
Exactly.
system during that time.
Yeah,
Um,
we've had we had a terrible attack at a Sydney beach a few.
wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's every day something's going on. Every single day, it's a tragedy. Um, in this world, somewhere around the world, there's a tragedy almost every day. Um, like here in America, we constantly, like what happened to Charlie Kirk, and and we've had, just recently we've had, some of our colleges, higher education, kids hurt there. We've had, and unalived. It's constant. It's constant. Um, oh, I lost her. She disappeared on me. But yeah, and it's all around the world, you guys. Sad but true. Hey, Carla, how you doing, sweetie? God bless. God bless you. And family summer PGA legendary. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm trying to get down to the bottom here. I was on my way. On my way. I hope Australia comes back. I don't know what happened, but I hope she comes back. Spread the love. How you doing? Yeah, I didn't hear about that. Hey, Granny's house. I didn't hear about that going on over there. It says device not connected, Australia. Device not connected. Something's wrong. Maybe you try to go out and come back in. Tropicana, how you doing, Lisa? I'm trying to get to the bottom here, you guys. I don't want to miss nobody. Hey, Texas Blue 22. You was number 2 tonight. You was number 2, girl. Miss Justice number 1. Spread love. She being nice. Hey, Patty Ponytown. She being nice to people in here tonight. Spread the love, spreading the love tonight. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Legendary. Lovely London. There you are. I'm waiting for Australia to see if she can straighten her. Must be her Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi must be messed up or something. Hey, Coupon Mama, how you doing tonight? Starbucks, there you are. Deputy Sheriff says, howdy, everybody. Howdy to you, Deputy. Tropicana, there she is. That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful, Tropicana. I'm just going all the way down. I'm hitting every comment to the bottom. Right? I'm trying not to miss nobody tonight. Hey, Anna. How you doing, sweetie? Good to see you. Hey, PT and everyone. Hey to you. Jay, how you doing? Good to see you. Hi, from England. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to everybody. They have all these people coming up to me saying, Happy Holidays. I'm like, Merry Christmas. Hey, Tinky Tank, how you doing? Merry Christmas, PG chat. Love to all. Love to you, girl. You know it. Cindy, how you doing tonight? Good to see everybody. We're almost to the bottom. That's my goal, is to get to the bottom of this. Patty Allen says, I'm number 32. Right. Number 32 in here. Hey, Dorothy, how you doing, sweetie? Hey, groom. That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right. I still ain't to the bottom, you guys. I still ain't to the bottom. Oh, wow. All right. I appreciate that. Parker. All right. Merry Christmas, everyone. Much love. Merry Christmas to you. Much love to you, girlfriend. I appreciate the support, Summer's channel. Amen. It sure is. I'm sorry I spelt your name so wrong a minute ago. My eyes are watering so much I can't see. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm not crying though. Right, Kendall? I heard that. Cool gamer, good to see you. Hello. It's a long ways to the bottom, you all. It's a long ways. Hey, grieving mama, grieving mother. Says prayers for Summer and all the missing children. Prayers for PG, Mods, chat, all the Summer's army. Much love to all. Merry Christmas, everyone. Hey, much love and Merry Christmas to you, sweetie. Absolutely. I'm getting to the bottom. It's a long ways. I'm just going to, I'm doing a 1, 2, skip a few. Hey, Raised in the Boondocks, how you doing tonight? Hey, C. Hey, Ivy, how you doing? Good to see you. Jessica. There's Caroline. All right. It's a long ways. I think we're down here. You guys. Yes. We're at the bottom. Hey, Angel from Heaven, good to see you, sweetie. Good to see you in here. Jane, Merry Christmas to you also and everyone. Oh, Merry Christmas to you, girl. All right. I'm going to get started. I don't know what happened to my Australia. She must have Wi-Fi wherever she's at. She must have her and her daughter's on a holiday right now somewhere. And it sounds like Sounds like the Wi-Fi's probably going in and out or something because it said device wasn't connecting. Um, Much love, Mama PG. Prayers for you and your family. Hey, girl, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Member for 7 months. Hey, girl, I think you've been here way longer than that. You've been here way longer than that. Absolutely. I appreciate the support for Summer's channel. God bless. Oh, we're having a bad storm and it's knocking the internet in and out, in and out. Or I'd come back up on panel PG. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, girl. Yeah, I love it when you come up and hang out with me. Hey, sweetie, just chilling. Remember, Jesus is the reason for the season. Amen, girl. You got that. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've always raised my kids to know that Christmas is about Jesus, not the guy in the big red suit. You know, I didn't take the guy in the big red suit away from my kids, They still, thought Santa Claus came and gave them stuff, but I kind of let my kids know that, how Christmas got truly started, right? How it truly got started, and how it truly got started is through down in history. There was a man who actually what happened was there was this man, and he felt he was very well to do, and what he did is he wanted to give to to the children, the poor, and he started a tradition of every year he would give all these gifts to the poor, help the poor, and it kind of caught on where others would give gifts as well. I truly believe that this man believed that God had gave us his son, the best gift of all, right? The best gift of all was what God gave us, which was his son, Jesus Christ, who walked this earth and died and on that cross so we could have eternal life. And through him, through his blood we are saved, and through his stripes we are healed, right? And I believe that this kind man wanted to give as well. He wanted to that was his way all year. He would probably put back and buy things, and at the end of the year, for him it was Christmas all year long, because he's buying stuff, and stocking stuff up to give out on Christmas Eve to all these neighbors and these people who didn't have the money like he did. And so he helped these people. And and that's what I teach my kids. That's where Saint Nick came from. That's where the tradition of giving had started, and that's why we give to one another, is because God gave to us, right? He gave us his only begotten son so that we could have eternal life, and through Jesus Christ we can obtain that, and I've accepted Jesus Christ into my life, absolutely. And and I live for God and his son Jesus, and the Holy Spirit with upon us and within us, as Jesus's light is as well. And but I let my kids know the truth. I don't want them believing in falsities. I don't want them raising their children to believe in falsities. Santa Claus is all cute and everything, and it's nice to get pictures with him. It's nice to, um, to believe that, all of these gifts under the tree is, you know, just magically appeared um, by someone, by some good soul that, flew through the sky in the middle of the night and decided to drop packages everywhere. That's all great and fun and everything, but it's not the truth. You know, your parents, your parents go through a lot. Parents go through a lot to give their children Christmas. Parents go through a lot to give. Parents don't just give to their kids. They give to nieces and nephews. They give to aunts and uncles. They give to, mom and dad and grandma and grandpa. They give to, their Christmas list is like never ending, right? They got a Christmas list a mile long, and it, a lot of people, have what they call a, special account at the bank for Christmas. They put a little money in every week or every couple weeks, and they save that money. They save that money till the end of the year, and then they draw it out, right? Right before Christmas, they draw out their holiday funds, and they take it out and they spend it, on all of these people they love. And that's a great sacrifice. That's a year long sacrifice, and it should be, accepted but also respected by your family, by your friends, by your coworkers, by, out of all the people you could have chose to give gifts to, you gave it to them, right? And I'm going to tell you something, and put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me. If you agree with me, put a 1 in the chat. I'm going to tell you the person that I dislike at Christmas. I'm just going to put it out there. Now, I don't have nothing wrong with, with a person who, like, for instance, a person that makes a wish list, because I would love for everybody to make wish lists. I love wish lists because it tells me what you want, and I want to buy you something you want, right? I don't want to buy you some off the wall gift that you don't want. I want to buy you something you do want, right? And I love people who make a list. I've got one child who makes a list. The other ones don't. The other ones don't make a list. You have to follow them around. You have to follow them around, and do the mom thing, right? You got to follow them around, do the mom thing. So, what have you been hoping to get for Christmas? What do you hope to get for your birthday? This kind of thing. You have to, listen to them, keep your ears open. Maybe they need a new controller, right? A new game controller. Maybe they need a new game. Maybe they, you got to listen. You got to keep your ears open. You have to listen, what they like, they don't like, what they worn out, right? Like maybe their football is getting really old, and they might need a new football, or maybe they're looking at, some type of collectible. Maybe they like a favorite team and or favorite player, and they want that card, of that particular person. So you got to keep your eyes and your ears open with, the kids that don't write a list. I got one that does, and I thank goodness for that. But the one person I don't like is that person that has a list a mile long. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like freaking mile long, and it's like everything on it you couldn't even afford, right? You, like, are you serious? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you serious? You ain't got nothing on this list that's in anybody, Bill Gates might be able to fulfill this list, but I don't think anybody else could. Um, Type of person. Uh, it's a mile long, and they don't like nothing. They don't like nothing. You might get them outside of what's on that list, right? That's sort of people that irritate the hell out of me. They irritate the hell out of me. I'm not gonna lie. They really do. They really do. Um, it's like, what the hell? Are you serious? I mean, couldn't you put a few affordable things on this list, right? I'm not talking dollar store, but I'm not talking, mother freaking, New York City, Fifth Avenue either. You know what I'm saying? But they do. They do. If you know somebody like that, put a one in the chat, because I'm going to tell you what. I know a couple. I know a couple people like that, and they very much irritate me. I'd rather not get them nothing, right? I'd rather not get them nothing. To be honest with you, and they probably don't get much. They probably don't get much, by doing what they do. But it's like, whoa, they're irritating. And I'm going to tell you, what I do with people like that. I just give them a cash card, right? I just give them a cash card. That's what I do. It's like, here you go, cash card. Because, you're going to have to get 4 or 5 of them cash cards to get what you want, girlfriend. Right? I can't afford that shit. I'm not being mean, I'm being honest. Right? But they crack me up, for real. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Iva. Absolutely. That's exactly. They have no manners. They have no manners. That is, their etiquette is out the window. Absolutely. I'm glad you agree. Right? Glad you agree with me. I couldn't have said it. I couldn't have said it better myself. She summed it up right there. I'm going to tell you, Deputy, I need that laugh tonight. I needed that laugh tonight. I appreciate it. I tell you. Deputy Sheriff gave PG a Christmas present, the best Christmas present I could have got this year. You just gave it to me. I needed that laugh. Thank you. Thank you for that gift. Right? Cash card with no cash in. I didn't think about that. But I'm sure glad you did. I'm sure glad you did. It sounds like something I would do, and I might do it now. All right. I might do that. I like to see that face. That face has got to be priceless. Right. I'm going to hand them that card, stand right there until they pull it out to open it, and I'm going to take a picture. And they ain't got no money. Right? Ain't no money. That's going to be funny as hell. I'm glad you thought of that. That's the best thing. That's the best damn thing I've heard in a long time. I love it. That is hilarious. Aw, you're so welcome. You're so welcome, angel from heaven. Absolutely. Oh yeah, Molly is a sweetheart. Molly is a sweetheart. Put $1 on it. Right? All in pennies. Tell them when they look surprised, when they look surprised, tell them those pennies in the future is going to be worth a lot, right? Because they don't make them anymore. And should give them 1 cent. I got you a Lincoln. I got you a Lincoln for Christmas, right? And my shiny new Lincoln. that'd, be, that'd be funny as hell. Super glue it. Super glue it to that damn card. So, so when they pull it off, the card will still be stuck to it. That would be hilarious. Tell them that penny's going to make them rich someday when nobody else but them has one. Right? They could sell it on the internet. They sell that sucker for $1 million. That's funny shit right there. Oh, God. Oh, shoot. Yeah, they stopped making the penny thanks to Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump stomped the penny. I tell you what, I seen a TikTok video where this man, he was at the dollar store. Was it dollar store? I don't know. He's at some store. Anyway, they had no pennies because they don't make pennies no more. And he said, but I want my pennies, right? He wanted his pennies. And the lady's like, we don't have pennies, sir. He said, then give me a nickel. If you ain't got my 2 cent, then you give me a nickel. Why is it right for you to take my money, but I can't take your money? And he raised a big stink. He's like, I want my money, right? Because pennies make nickels, nickels make dimes, dimes make quarters, right? Quarters make 50-cent pieces, and 50-cent pieces make dollars. So, I see where the guy's coming from, right? Those pennies add up. And, the store don't let you walk away. You got to put something back if you're 5 cents short, right? You're 5 cents short. They don't say, hey, go on. They say, hey, you got to put something back. And I mean, if they're going to be that way, then, that 2 cent that they kept, that 4 cents that they kept, shit, that would have been your nickel. That would have been your nickel that you could have got, the rest of you wouldn't have had to put nothing back, right? If they'd have been giving you your pennies, you wouldn't have had to put nothing back. And I understand that man. He's like, then you're going to give me a nickel. You don't want to give nothing, but you want to take. You want to take my money. And, yeah, it was funny as hell. It was funny, man. I was sitting there cracking up. He was giving them all kinds. He's giving them all kinds of BS. They finally gave him the nickel so he would leave, right? He's like, nobody's keeping my pennies. If you owe me pennies, then you're going to give me nickels. I was rolling. But, hey, that's the way it should be. Now they're asking you, do you want to round up? Do you want to round up? No. Do you want to round down? What do you mean? Do I want to round up? Your groceries, something comes to $4.03. Do you want to round up, to $5? And how about if we round down to $4 and I leave, right? How about if we round down? Nobody wants to round down. They just want to round up. Right? It don't make no fucking sense. I mean, they try to get you coming and get you going. That's insane. And what charity are you giving this to? You know, yeah, right. When that cash register's overflowing at the end of the night, um, you know, that extra money's going in somebody's pocket. That's where it's going. It ain't going nowhere else. It's going in somebody's pocket. I'm gonna tell you, there ain't that many honest people in the world, right? They ain't giving it to something else. They're paying themselves. I was going to get into some type of charity. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, I found out that like only 5% of my dollar actually would make it to help the situation. Right? 5%. That means 5 cents out of every dollar. Because, they claim that, they have to put so much into the, all the stuff, and then they have to put so much into the transportation, then they have to put so much, into wages for these people, well, if only 5% is going to make it after your transportation and after your wages to these people, only 5% is going to go towards what they're hauling. Why bother to haul anything at all? I mean, there's not going to be much going. Why waste all of that money? Why waste all of that money? Why not just send the whole money to that place and then buy all the stuff, with the merchants and the people at that place, and then all the money would be going towards, the situation, right, at hand. That's my thinking, right? That's how I'm thinking. But I guess that ain't the way it is. By the time they funnel all this, overhead, as they call it, the program really gets pennies. The program gets pennies. And I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. I think very dishonest people obviously are running, charities that work like that. That's my opinion. Very dishonest people. Well, they try to make it make sense. They tell you about, all of this overhead, which is their pockets and other people's pockets. And by the time it gets into the, into the pocket of the true charity, it's like a nickel, right, out of the dollar that's dropped into the fund for the charity itself. And, if you're taking 95% of the dollar for a bunch of pockets and there's only a nickel left, to go towards the main funding, that's insane. That's insane. But, that's why you research. That's why you research into what you're, like, say, for instance, Shriners. That's a beautiful place. That's a beautiful place that is, worth donating into. Absolutely. They help so many children. for nothing. It don't cost, don't cost a dime. All the children they accept and they help. Don't cost a dime. That's a beautiful charity right there. And there is a lot of really beautiful charities, to donate to that, that the full money is going in to the overall, program. And yeah, St. Jude's, um, those are, they're very much worth um donating into. Some charities ain't, right? Toys for Tots. That's a great charity as well. Um, I think that I'm kind of on the fence. I'm kind of on the fence when it comes to um, when it comes to the Salvation Army. I'm kind of on the fence with that one. Put a one in the chat if you're kind of on the fence with the Salvation Army, because they receive freely, they should give freely, right? I mean, I think that's a charity where people should donate their time, like candy stripers at a hospital. I think that, you know, they should donate their time, right? Um, my grandmother was like donated her time at a hospital. I believe my mother donated her time at a hospital. Was one of them candy striper, um, where they went in and they helped for free. They just helped because they wanted to. And charity work. And they didn't get a dime. They didn't get a dime for what they did, and but it made them feel good about themselves, right? The pay was feeling good about being able to help others and do for others. It gave them a good feeling, that they didn't want nothing, in return. They just wanted to help, out of the kindness of their heart, like people should, and and I think that's a noble thing to do. Oh wow. And that's beautiful, Angel from Heaven. Our restaurant donated free hams and turkeys to homeless whoever needs it tomorrow from 10 to 11 p.m. tomorrow. Absolutely. You know, me and my husband, my first husband, we used to adopt families. We adopted families. Basically, through the school system, we would find families. Maybe we knew of families, in the area where we was. We knew of people, maybe in our family, sometimes in the family, that a niece or cousin or somebody is having it really rough, right? They're having it really rough around the holidays. But we would adopt families and basically, give a gift card to the grocery store, right? We would give a generous size um, gift card to the grocery store so that they could go pick out what they want, right? Let them go shopping for themselves. We get them a generous gift card to a grocery store, and then we would go out and buy, you know, uh, ton of gifts for the kids and the parents, something nice for the parents, maybe like an appliance or, something that you thought they would love and they would like and, so forth. If it's family, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier if it's like, some of your family, because you know what your family likes and, you're around them. When it's total strangers, it's a little harder. It's a little bit harder. But, you know, who who can't use, you know, an extra microwave? Who can't use, um, extra can openers or you know slow cookers or the newest thing that just came out, right? Everybody's wanting to try it. Some people can't buy it. um like the air fryers and stuff like that. So you get the newest things. And cookware sets and stuff like that. People always need cookware sets and dish sets and things. But we would actually adopt and take the gifts. If we got people from the school, then we would deliver all the gifts to the school for the family to pick up. Um, if we, got somebody in the area, then on Christmas, Eve, we would around 1, 2 o'clock, we would show up and drop off all the gifts, to them. And you'd be surprised at how much that means to these families to be adopted and and given that hand up at such a trying time as the holidays. It's really a great, you know it's a great thing to do. It's a really good thing to do. And I suggest people do it. I suggest, if you can't afford but one family, just do one family. But it is it's just a really good cause. Where I'm at right now, at Ronald's house, in this guest house. Oh, I'm going to tell you something. This place is beautiful. And I'm going to tell you, all the houses around here, I don't think any of these people need anybody's help. I really don't. I don't think nobody around here needs no help. You know, that's just, that's our secret. But like they got everything. They got like everything, right? I feel so poor. Right? I feel so poor. It makes you feel poor. Yeah. This place is so nice. It is like I could live in this guest house. I could live in this guest house all year long. I mean, it's got a kitchen, it's got bedrooms, it's got a big living room, fireplace. Oh, it's nice. It's got a dining area. Oh yeah. And it's even got a patio, pretty good sized patio that you can, barbecue on. And it's got these big doors that open. You got onto it is the guest house is like, it's beautiful. You guys don't even know. It's like, wow. And I know just the drapes in here, um, custom made. They're custom made. Had to cost a lot just to put the drapes in this place. It's I have no words. I have no words, to describe how beautiful it is. It is beautiful. The bathroom doesn't only have like this walk-in shower, but it has, a tub. It's got a tub in there. It's got a double bowl sink. It's got it's got everything. It's like got everything, and like the bathroom is inside. It's inside a door all by itself, like for real. You could be in the bathroom with the door shut, and somebody else could be in the bathroom where you're taking a shower and everything. Um, like if somebody's taking a shower and you need to go to the bathroom, you could still go to the bathroom. It's separate. It's like separate. The commode and a little sink is separate from the big shower, the bathtub, and the double bowl sink. It is like super freaking nice. It is beautiful, Suzanne. Absolutely, it is. Like I said, I'm feeling so poor. Right? PG's feeling poor. I thought my house was beautiful until I came to Ronald's. Right? Till I came visit Ronald. His house it's just like, it's unbelievable. The main house, I don't even know how many rooms are in there. I don't even know. Like, you go in there and it's like you're going to get lost. You're going to get lost in there. It's got marble floors. It's got like this marble staircase that goes up to another floor. I don't know what goes past the top, the top floor after that staircase, because I haven't been up there. But I do know there's another staircase that comes down into their kitchen. Because when I was back into the kitchen, somebody came down a staircase into the kitchen where we were. And I was like, wait a minute, the staircase is out there. Where, and I know I heard somebody coming downstairs, and I looked around and there's another staircase back there. So hell, I don't know how many staircases come down from that floor up there. I don't know. I mean, for all I know, there could be more staircases than that. I have no idea. I haven't been all over, their house. I haven't had a tour. Ronald's been wanting to take me through a tour of the main house, but I can't climb stairs like that, right? I can't climb stairs. I was talking to Australia because I was walking actually the last few days. I've been doing quite a bit of walking out here. And like I told her, I had to sit down. I had to literally sit down. Like, I cannot walk like that. So, I'm like, no, it puts me in pain. I got to sit down. I'm like, shoot, I do not want to have this baby away from my home, right? I don't want to have this. I do not want to have this baby. I don't know nobody, no, I don't know no hospitals or doctors or none of the people, here. So I'm just like, I need to sit down. I'm trying to make it back home. I'm trying to make it back home before this, this bundle of joy shows up. Oh yeah, I did. Angel from Heaven. I did. I got my funnel cake. I got a funnel cake, and I got ice cream on it, and I got whipped topping on it. Girlfriend, you better believe it. You better believe I did. And I got Some bananas. I got bananas on it. I got some strawberries on it. Yeah, I got fresh fruit, like fresh fruit on top of it. It was good. It was really good. Yeah, it was. I mean, it wasn't like huge, you know. It wasn't like a mountain, right? But it was good. It was very good. I couldn't have ate it if it was a mountain. But, I wanted the mountain just so I could say I had the mountain, right? It was more in my head, right? My eyes were way bigger than my belly. Yeah. I'm going to tell you what, Australia. Um, no, no. She's like, call the 911 if you need to, PG. Right? No. I hope I don't need to. I hope I don't need to. I don't want to. Oh, I thought I was going in labor today. My back hurt for like 3 hours, last night. Well, early morning. It started like, early morning, and I didn't get no sleep hardly. And then we got up today to go out and do some shopping and do some stuff. And I'm going to tell you what, I was like, I had to go, back here. I'm like, I got to go, back to the freaking house over there because I can't do this. But yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I had to come back. And and I'm gonna tell you something. The uncle was driving. I wasn't driving. He was driving, and he takes his time. Matter of fact, he went in the wrong fucking direction. He went in the wrong direction. And I was like, I think you're going in the wrong direction. He's like, yeah, I know. I said, why are we going in the wrong direction? He said, I thought you might want to get something to eat down here. I said, are you effing kidding me? I'm in pain. What do you mean I want something to eat down there? What are you doing? So, yeah, he's going in the wrong direction. So finally he turns around, comes back in the right direction, right? And like this mother freaker flies. He's doing 90 and a freaking probably 35. He does 90 all the time. And then like today he's driving like 10 miles fucking per mile, 10 miles an hour. He's driving like 10 fucking miles an hour. I'm like, are you kidding me? My stomach is seizing up, like, I'm having these pains. I'm like, are you kidding me? The baby's balling up and turning loose and balling up and turning loose. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's possibly, could be labor. And, we got to get back to Ronald's place. We got to get back there to the freaking guest house. I need to sit down. He's driving all slow and shit. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I didn't want to hit no bumps. You don't want to hit a bump? What do you mean? Do you think the baby's going to bounce out if you hit a freaking bump? Are you kidding me? What do you mean you don't want to hit a bump? I'm going to tell you something. He be getting on my nerves. You guys. He follows me around constantly. And he's like, ain't going to hit no bumps when he goes freaking 90 miles an hour in a 35. I'm telling you now, this guy, I don't even know. I think he's trying to get on my nerves. I really do. It's like, but anyway, it finally quit. It finally stopped. And I was like, oh goodness. I don't even know what it was. I don't know what that was about. But all I do know is like if I can't climb a lot of stairs and I can't walk a lot without sitting down. So I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I love him too. I do. I love him, but when I mean, if he drives, what's going to happen? Like, like, if I would have been, if the baby would have been coming, like on his way, he's driving 10 freaking miles an hour. You know how long it'd take to, what am I going to do? Like throw the seat back and catch my own kid? I mean, that's weird. Especially for somebody that drives like he drives. I mean, you think you're on a racetrack. You think that that you're freaking out there trying to win the race with this guy when he's driving. And he will have his hand on the steering wheel. I promise you. You'll be going down the freeway. He'll have his hand on the steering wheel and his other hand against you in the passenger seat. Even if you got your seatbelt on, he still puts one hand out on you, and he's going in and out between these cars like 90 miles an hour, And you're like, why aren't you driving with both hands? Why you got one hand over here, like guarding me? And he's like, he's something different. He's I'm protecting you. How you protecting me? Right? How are you protecting? Obviously, you're driving, insane. If you got to put your hand over here in front of me while you're driving, you know that you should be slowing down and driving a little more careful or something. Like, I'm sure your hand's going to mother freaking save somebody. Come on. He's something different. Right? I don't know. I've been trying to figure out how his brain works. That's Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about. My husband used to be a firefighter and still drives like one. Exactly. I'm gonna tell you, my kid's uncle ain't no firefighter, but he sure in the hell drives. I think he drives worse. To be honest with you. You think that he was a driver for NASCAR, the way he flies. It's insane. Oh yes, they did. Yes, they did, Patty Ponytail. They sure did. That's exactly what they did. They definitely gave up their right. These people couldn't have adopted the two younger boys, and the older boy couldn't be looking for a forever home, as in adoption, if Don and Candus wouldn't have gave up all parental rights for them to be able to adopt the boys out. They had to have gave up all parental rights in order for them to be adopting the kids out. I remember when they went and signed up the paper. It was right after Don got out of jail. I knew right when they went and done it. I knew that they had went and done it. Matter of fact, Don had told me. He told me himself that they went and had done that. Matter of fact, was talking to them behind the scenes around that time, and Don had asked me, um, not, not to, not to put out our conversation. I did record it. Yes, I did record it. But no, I will not put it out. I will not put it out because I told him I wouldn't. When I tell somebody I'll do something, I do it. That's the one thing, he asked me not to, and I won't. I don't care, I don't care who the person is, how horrible they are. If someone asks me to keep something between me and them and only me and them, I'm not going to go spilling that. I don't do that. I believe in keeping, what people tell me secret. And I mean, he didn't tell me not to tell that they signed the kids over. That was just, casual conversation that, something that they done, and he, just wanted to get off his chest, I guess, talk to somebody about. But him and Candus, mainly Dawn, had, said a lot of other stuff too. They were saying a whole lot of other stuff that, they didn't want aired out here, and asked me to not bring it to the table. Yeah, it is, Karen. Absolutely. It is about summer. It is about summer. But um, you you gotta be the friend that you want to all people. You gotta be the friend that you want to everyone. Um, you know, because if you get out of the habit of being the friend you want with people you don't feel deserves it, then you'll get out of the habit with your true friends as well. You got to, you got to keep a regiment of being that friend you want when it comes to all humans. And that's not for Don and Candace's or people that don't deserve your trust and your kindness and everything. It's for you, and it's for all the, and for all the other people who do deserve it. Um, it's for them as well. You know, you should always, if you promise not to say something, you shouldn't say it. That's, you shouldn't make promises you can't keep. That's just the thing. I talk to a lot of people. And a lot of people have, a lot of people have stuff on their chest that they don't want no one knowing, A lot of people have stuff on their chest and they don't know who to trust to tell it to. And if someone asks me not to, if you don't ask me not to say it, then I probably will say it. If you don't ask me not to say it, I probably will. But if you ask me not to, not to say something, and I tell you I won't, then I won't. Now, if you ask me not to say something and it's, something that needs to be said, then I'll tell you I can't promise you. I mean, if I think I need to tell the police or I need to, tell the family, for safety reasons or something, I'll just let you know. No, I can't keep that secret. I can't, I won't do it. I don't waste no words telling you I won't do it. if it's that important. No way.
D. The state might drop abuse charges if a parent voluntarily gives up rights. Termination of parental rights, TPR, because TPR often serves the child's best interest by providing stability, but
those people are allegedly are pedos, and suddenly are. Oh, absolutely not. I will not hide any evilness when it comes to Summer's case. Hell no. Hell no. I'm going to tell you what Don and Candus, what Don and Candus had told me that they asked me not to put out here. Law enforcement knows. Trust me, law enforcement already knows. I mean, law enforcement has all the records. They have everything. CPS has everything. It's not, it's not a secret to law enforcement, and it's not a secret to child protector. It's not a secret to anybody that, that, it was just, I mean, if he would have told something, something about where Summer's at, or he would have told something about, the things that, the abuse that they did or anything like, I'd be telling you. Trust me, I would be telling you. I would have told him, hell no. I would have been playing you the fucking recording. I would have had that recording up and out here right now. Absolutely. But that wasn't what, that wasn't what they asked me not to put out here. They just asked me not to put out here, basically just some of, their me stuff, about how they think, how their mind operates, as in, as in like law enforcement being against them, the church people, they just tossed out some, basically it was like pity party for themselves. And then they asked me not to, not to release names, that of people that, they felt did them wrong, and so forth and so on, during, their 3.5, 4 years of Summer missing. Basically that was, that was it. And I mean, why would I really care about that anyway? Why would I really, care about that? I'm not into releasing people's names and that they talked about, and so forth. These are innocent people. And I don't know if they're really telling the truth. If these people acted, this way or that way, anyhow, I don't know. And, and I'm not going to exploit these innocent people, it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. No, they don't deserve my loyalty. You're right, Karen. They don't. They do not deserve anyone's loyalty. But you know what? it's not their, it's not their, it ain't about them. It's not about them. It's about me and my own loyalty, my own dignity and self-respect and everything. It's not about them, that's right. But it is about me. And, and me saying that when I wouldn't say anything, if they want, about them spratting off and, so forth and so on. It's about me saying, hey, I ain't going to say nothing. I don't need to. I mean, it's nothing, it's nothing important. It's nothing like, I did record it. But it was just, and it's for the people they talked about too. You got to remember that, I mean, would you want your name out here? Would you want your name out here with the Wells criticizing and saying things? Would you want your name being floated out here? No. I'm going to tell you something about Don and Candus Wells that I learned a long time ago. They will get innocent people. They will get innocent people's lives turned upside down. Innocent people's lives turned upside down. For no reason. Just because they're evil. Just because they're evil. They will mention people. They will mention people that, somebody like, take for instance, if they went somewhere and somebody gave them hard looks or dirty looks, Don would surf around to find out that person's name. Then he would say their name out here. He would say their name through White Boy or through Day Day or through, a YouTuber or something. Because he knows those YouTubers are going to grab that name and they are going to research this person. They're going to start calling this person. They're going to start bothering this person. They're going to look up their Facebook. They're going to look up their Instagram. They're going to look up their TikTok. They're going to look up their house. They're going to look up all their family. All of a sudden, it causes this innocent person's whole life nothing but hell. And that's what they do. This is what they do. And they do it purposely. And we all know it. Put a 1 in the chat if you know this is what they do. And they've had a lot of people's families and their life and they're like their whole fucking world turned upside down. This is what they do. And they've done it to every single body that they could possibly do it to get the focus off of them. And they know anytime they mention a name, that name is going to get drugged through Hades out here in the YouTube world. They know it. And that's why they do it. That's why they do it. And I'm not going to start naming people that these people name, I just ain't going to do it. Like I said, what he said had nothing to do with Summer or Summer's case. It had nothing to do with Summer's case. It had all to do with the pity party of people who they feel isn't supporting them. And that's, that is in the church, in the community, co-workers, bosses, stuff like that. And that, is the conversation. But he did mention casually at first, and he didn't say don't put that out, but casually at first they did talk about signing their rights over to the boys, and he was pretty sad about it, and that's what brought on the rest of the conversation that he asked me not to expose. There. And that was the size of it. You know, I don't keep no secrets in Summer's case, you know, when it comes to Summer. I've been out here 4.5 years busting my ass trying to figure out what happened June 15th, 2021. Exactly where this child could possibly be so law enforcement could solve the case. I have diligently worked overtime on this case. I mean, if, you know, I'm not patting myself on my back. I'm not patting myself on the back, you know, at all. No way, form, or how am I patting myself on the back. But I'll tell you this. I don't think anybody has worked as hard as we have to solve Summer's case. I don't even think law enforcement has mother freaking put the puzzle together as hard and worked as hard as we have to get the answers of what happened that day. And that's the truth. Just saying. So, you know, you want to talk about diligently working and moving forward with a child's case. I think we've done that. And I think we accomplished what happened from morning all the way up to law enforcement showing their asses up at 110 Ben Hill Road on a wild fucking goose chase into the woods. I think, you know, I think we have figured it out. And if law enforcement would just get off their backsides and listen and go across the road and check Morrison Cemetery and, you know, Timothy Morrison's grave site, I think we might have this case solved. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it. And even we were the ones that caught on to what Andy said. We were the ones that, you know, went up there and checked that gravesite. We're the ones that got stalked at the gravesite up there, right? Our people, Summer's Army, our channel, we're the ones. Now I'm going to tell you, this is a dangerous case. A very dangerous case. When you got people stalking you up across the road at a cemetery, you're playing with something you might not be playing with. Right? A lot of people would have said, oh my gosh, you know, this ain't going to bring, you know, somebody else getting hurt ain't going to bring Summer back, and they would have been gone. That's the way most people think. But we don't think that way. We don't think that way, right? Maybe we're not smart enough. Maybe we're not smart enough to think that way. I don't know. You know, when I get back home, I'll go, you know, I'll find a good head doctor, and I'll go lay on the sofa and I'll say, Doc, you know, what do you say? What do you say about all of this? Am I not that smart? Something wrong with me, something mentally wrong with me, And if he tells me I'm cray, then I wasted my fucking money because I already knew this. I already knew that. I don't know what I'm paying for, right? I don't know what I'm paying for. I'm gonna tell you, there's been, I know of a few people right here in this chat. As I said here, I know of a few people who have called in the tip about Morrison Cemetery. I know at least about 5 or 6 people in here who's made that call, and there's been more than that. Has made that call. It ain't just from PG's channel. There's other channels and creators out there who's making that call. Once it came out, there's been more, but for some reason law enforcement's not listening. They're not listening. I don't know why. Now, I understand that law enforcement has a dispute with this Morrison family because they went flying down the road and supposedly ran over one of these people's loved ones. And they've been, there's been a feud ever since between law enforcement and this Timothy Morrison's family. Something to do with, law enforcement just didn't see the person and it went south. So could that be why they're not over there? Is that maybe why the family's not, working with law enforcement to get this done? I don't know. I don't know what the holdup on this particular, situation is with that gravesite and law enforcement refusing to check it. I don't know. Maybe it sounds so far-fetched to them, right? Maybe it's past their fucking understanding. In order for you to check that grave, you'd have to be able to think past your nose. You'd have to be able to think like a criminal. Maybe these people don't know how to think like that, right? I don't know. Maybe they just don't want to sink the money into doing what's righteous for a little girl's missing child's case. I don't know. I wish that I was, I wish I had all the answers. I really do. I wish, that God gifts me with all the answers to everything. Because if he did, I'd surely let you know. But, I think God's been very gracious. I think he's been very gracious to us by letting us, be able to figure out everything we figured out so far. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful, for where God's brought us from where we was to where we are now. I'm very grateful in Summer's case. But, I got to depend on God. And when God, when God wants me to hear something that's going to help this case, I'll let you know immediately, as I always do. But, I can't do anything. And I'm a very humble person. I'm very humble. I understand that, all things come from God. Everything does. And I'm a true believer that wherever God wants my feet, that's where they're going to be. Wherever he wants my ears, that's where they're going to be. When God wants me to see or hear something that's going to help Summer, then I'm grateful. I'll be there. I just have to trust in God and God's gift of giving, what he wants when he wants. And I truly believe that he's going to solve this case. Absolutely. But, I'm not going to question God, and I'm not going to try to push God, either. To be honest with you, I fear God. And I'm going to be the last person to be questioning or pushing. I'm going to just be thankful as the answers come. That's what I'm trying to say. How dangerous Wayne Morlock is? I'm talking to Wayne right now. Actually, I'm getting ready to go and possibly visit Wayne Morlock. I know where he lives. And I'm not afraid of Wayne. Wayne seems to be a very nice guy. He seems to be a very nice guy. And I've been corresponding with him. And I'm not afraid of Wayne at all. Not at all. I don't, Wayne does, from what Wayne has told me, he doesn't have any idea, what really happened to Summer. He's heard the rumors, he's heard all the rumors and stuff about, Summer supposedly getting sold, because Don and Andy Bernard had a debt and all the BS. He's heard all of this BS, but he told me he has no idea, what really happened. He wasn't there. So he doesn't, really know about it. He's just hearing, what's being said through the grapevine. And I know Dom wanted to, pull Wayne Morlock's name into all of this, but I have some information, which has already been out here. It's already been out here, you guys. But I have information that, I've been wondering about, you can't see everything all at once. You can't see everything all at one time. And this is a big case. This case has many, many different components to it. It has, it's like a mother freaking jigsaw puzzle with 1,000 pieces, right? And I'm not talking about big pieces. I'm talking about little tiny ones. You know, you have to put it all together. You got to figure it out. And the problem is, there's a whole lot of mother freaking extra pieces that don't fit into it. And you got to weed all of those 1,000 pieces out in order to get the 1,000 pieces that puts this puzzle together, if you know what I'm talking about. So you're going to spend a hell of a lot of time trying to, you know, it's just so much to go through. It's so much to unravel and to go through in order to, you know, to get to the bottom of this case and fully understand what the hell's going on. And, you know, I think we have been very gifted by God through his son, Jesus Christ, in understanding as much as we have up to this point. You know, I mean, we've got the puzzle solved. We just got to figure out where is Summer, right? I think we know what happened step by step. I think we got the timeline. They, you know, granted, they got up that morning. There was an open grave across the road. Now, this grave ain't going to be open very long. We got this man that passed away on the 11th, and we got this grave that's going to close out on the 18th, right? Now, somewhere in the middle of this grave gets dug. Right? The grave gets dug in the middle of this. So you got this man passes away on the 11th. The funeral home ain't even notified until the 12th. More than likely, they took him, you know, to the morgue at the hospital and held him there until the next day when the family can make arrangements with the funeral home. So that would have been on the 12th. And he gets buried on the 18th. So the funeral home would have been notified the 12th. The body would have probably been shipped over there either the 12th or the 13th for the funeral home to, you know, do what they do. And the family, you know, they're trying to get things in order. They're grieving. They got to get stuff in order. So now you're looking at, you know, by the 14th, they're probably, you know, everything's in order, you know, what the casket and all the things they're, you know, they want for this particular gravesite. They probably picked out the headstone. They probably picked out, you know, the vault and the casket and the clothing. You know, so I'd say on the 14th, they showed up at the funeral home with the clothes that they want put on their loved one. And they're going to have a showing, you know, and we don't know when the showing is supposed to be. They have a showing probably, I say if they had a showing, it probably would have been on the, you know, 16th or 17th. I'm not quite sure. I could check. That out, tell you tomorrow. You know, pretty much because they hold showings usually on the weekend. If they do it through the week, it's in the evening. Sometimes they do it through the week on the evening. So I would say probably more than likely the grave would have been dug on the night of the 14th. I say on the 15th, the grave was probably dug. That's my opinion. And I say on the 16th, they probably was going to, was going to feel safe enough that, the weather report is, clear and dry and sunny. So I would say that they probably felt that, it was safe enough on the 16th to go ahead and put in the vault down in there. Because they're probably going to have a showing, I say, on the night of the 16th and 17th, and then bury him on the 18th. So, and Andy Bernard said they had the big tent up over there on the 15th, the day Summer went missing. There was a big, and the next day, which was the 16th, he said there was a big blue tent across the road where someone was getting buried, which would have been Timothy Morrison, right? Put a 1 in the chat if that sounds accurate. So I say that grave was already dug on the 15th, but it was nothing but dirt down in there, because they didn't want to set anything down in there until they were sure that it wasn't going, they want to keep, like, when they're digging a grave, they don't keep the weather report for a week. They keep that weather report for, 2 or 3 days. How is it going to be over the next, few days? And they don't want, to go and put, anything down in mud, have it rain, and, it'd be a freaking nightmare, right? That would be a nightmare. They want to make sure it's going to be sunny, it's going to be dry. I mean, sometimes they ain't got much of a choice. When it comes to it pouring to rain. I mean, like, some places it rains all the mother freaking time, right? It'll be pouring down and then stop and pour down and stop. So, it's just, you can't, they got to put a big ass tent up over that to try to keep it dry. But they don't want to put somebody's vault down in a gravesite and then have it fill up with water. That wouldn't be good. So what I think is they dug it out the night of the 14th, and you have to use heavy equipment to dig a grave. Now, that's the thing on Van Hill Road. I heard they found some heavy equipment. I heard heavy equipment was mentioned. And to dig a grave, that's heavy equipment right there, right? And was they checking? Could possibly a piece of that equipment had something? Could it have had something in it? Maybe, because we got to remember, Candus ended up with Summer's jacket, and she ended up with Summer's shirt, right? And she ended up with Summer's little paw patrol. puppy things. Remember, they were in Grandma's cactus planter, right? Now, there was only two. There was only two of those little Paw Patrol things out there in that cactus. And I always thought that those two toys had fell out or came from somewhere on the 15th. I always felt that Candus and Grandus, I always felt that they had put those in that planter because they had no place else they could think to put them really fast. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. I mean, you got law enforcement coming. Candus just barely gets back. She gaslights the boys up. She's not thinking, the whole day has been, really traumatic. They use Grandma's knee to go into Kingsport in order to pick up Hunter. Then they head to the swimming hole where, after stopping and getting him some twisted tea and possibly other stuff to, alter him, like mellow him out, alter who he is, basically the shot of courage, right? The shot of courage type thing. And, so they get the stuff that they think, is going to alter the boy in order to get him to do what they're wanting done. And here they are at the swimming hole. You see Candus turn the damn camera off as he heads out into the water. And the next time we see Summer, she's on these milk jugs all propped up, looking definitely unalived, right? She definitely looks like she's no longer with us. So, with that being said, and then you have Hunter saying, you have Don and Candus, talking about how they dressed her after she went swimming so she wouldn't be cold. But we find out that she was cold on a damn pillow laying against the driver's side door all the way through Walgreens, all the way through Sonic's, all the way at the grocery store, all the way back to Hunter's house, right? We find out she was cold laying against the driver's side door. How do we find that out? Hunter told it. He said she was, she's on a pillow against the driver's side door. She's the only one wet from swimming. So we know that mommy wasn't a good fucking parent, that we knew she wasn't. Right? We already knew that this bitch don't dress her kids because she thinks they're cold after swimming. Who takes their kids swimming in the middle of the fucking day anyway? Who in the hell gets up in the morning and decides to take their kid out when it's only like 80, 79, 80 degrees and put them in cold mother freaking water to go swimming? Who takes their kid out to swim before fucking noon? And the kid ain't had no breakfast. It ain't had no lunch. And you're going to, take it out and put it in cold ass water before lunchtime. I mean, put a 1 in the chat if you find that damn suspicious within itself. I find it pretty fucking suspicious that somebody's going to take their kid and, swimming before noon. That's just my opinion. Don't make no damn sense to me. If somebody, make it make sense, because it don't. And Candus turns the mother freaking camera off right as this guy's going out into the water. Come on. What the hell does that tell you? What does it tell you? It tells you to me that the bitch didn't want nobody seeing what was about to happen. That's what it tells me. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this shit out. You just have to know evil, criminal ass people like those motherfuckers are. That's all you have to do. You just have to know people well enough to know who the fuck those people are, right? I mean, this isn't this just isn't rocket science, man. This is, everyday common sense. That's what it is. It's everyday common sense. I mean, you could tell that was a setup. You could tell Candus going to that hospital, that emergency room, was a setup. We saw her right after Summer went missing, and she had no knee brace on. When the camera people was there, she was sitting right behind Dawn and Candus, and I have pictures. She was sitting right behind them over there. The people put the camera right on the bitch, and she had no fucking knee brace on. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember that. When they turned the camera and looked at her, and she was sitting there and no knee brace on either fucking knee. Now I'm going to tell you something. If her knee was as bad as she said it was, they would have been a brace on that bitch for about 6 fucking weeks or more. 6 to 8 damn weeks. You're going to be hobbling in that brace. Just saying. So the fact that she had no knee brace on, and Don Wells said, what knee brace? So that tells me that she didn't have a knee brace on when his ass got home either. I mean, Don Wells didn't ever see a knee brace on this old fucking bag, right? I'm sure he wouldn't have missed a big ass knee brace. And he was asking what knee brace? The old goat didn't have, and I'm going to tell you something. I bet she tried to talk him out of that big old shot they gave her in the fucking knee, right? I bet she tried to talk him out of that. I'm going to tell you what, I'm glad they gave it to her. And you know what they told her? We're not giving you no, rugs. We're not giving you no rugs for the pain because we gave you the big old shot that's supposed to take care of it. And man, she went batshit crazy, right? She went batshit crazy at Walgreens, telling them she's supposed to have this. She was calling back at the doctor's place, asking. That's what she was doing in the car. She wasn't putting minutes on her phone. She was calling that mother freaking emergency room, wanting to know where the hell her rugs was that she thought she was going to get, right? That's what she was doing. Trust me. She's like, wait a minute. Because when they pulled up to that window to drop that off, she was asking. She was asking, what did they, what exactly is this? And what is this? And what is this for? And when they, when they explained to her that, it wasn't nothing, it wasn't nothing for pain. She's like, oh, hell no, there's supposed to be something for pain. And they're like, no, you can come back and pick these up in like a certain time. There's nothing here for pain. So she went to that, they got over to the swimming hole and she's like, I supposed to got double dividends out of this. And that's supposed to have been one of the perks, but she wasn't getting it. right? So she stayed in that vehicle while Candus and Hunter went down there. And I'm going to tell you, if Candus was down there at that swimming hole, oh, Candus would have had the camera right on her ass. Candus had that camera going around on Hunter. I mean, she's just all over. And I'm going to tell you, that old bag wasn't down there. She was up there in that vehicle wanting to know where her rugs was that she wasn't getting when all of that shit went down. And I'm going to tell you something. They packed that little girl back to that vehicle, put her on a pillow against that driver's side door, and they headed their asses back over to Walgreens, headed their asses through Sonic's, and headed their asses to that store as fast as they could. And they stopped at the store because they needed to get food to deter the boys so they could gaslight the hell out of them, because they knew them kids hungry as hell because they don't ever feed them. It's a big treat to see some food. And that's what they done. That's what they done. And I'm going to tell you, Ronnie Lawson said, ask why it took 4.5 hours to call us. He said that. Well, that puts you back on the milk jug. That puts you back on that milk jug. Unalived. And why does it put him back on the milk jugs? Because they didn't, Ronnie Lawson wouldn't have said that. If they'd have seen any movement of Summer at Walgreens, or any movement of Summer at Sonic's, or any movement of Summer at the store, he wouldn't have been asking, why the hell did it take 4.5 hours to call law enforcement? He wouldn't have asked that. That's common mother freaking sense right there. He wouldn't have been asking that damn question because he would have knew that she was, alive at that time. He wouldn't have ever asked that question. So with him just asking that question lets us know that they don't believe she was alive anymore, right? That's common sense as well. Just saying. So we know what happened the first part of the day. We know that, the dirty deed went down at the swimming hole. We know that Summer was dressed at Allison's house, right? We know that it had to be dressed at Allison's house because the video was taken after they left Allison's house and was on the way home. And Summer was dressed. And she had makeup on. There's lipstick smeared on the right side of this child's lip at the bottom. You could tell there's some kind of foundation trying to cover up the blueness on her face. No child's face is going to look that perfect. You could tell there's makeup on there. And your law enforcement could tell this too. Don't think they can't. Proving it and knowing it's two different things. Just saying. They know it. But with the picture, you got to, you can't really prove it. Just saying. And we know that once they got back to Ben Hill Road, Candus, took a black tote, right? She took a black tote from Grandma's because it was missing. The black tote was missing. It was there on the 12th when Marlena's daughter was there. The black tote was over there at Grandma's camper on the 12th, right before Summer went missing, and it disappeared. It disappeared with Summer, right? It disappeared with Summer. When Chris went up there, Well, it's gone. The black tote's gone. So we know the black tote and Summer got gone at the same time. We know that Candus put her phone on Dawn's truck and hauled her ass down to Freddie's house. We know that when she got to Freddie's house, Chad Arnold was there and she met up with him. We know she had talked to Marlena at 4:30. Already talking about how Summer's missing. We know that she went down there and met up with Chatty Boy. We know Marlena Crawford is related to Chatty Boy. So we know at 4:30, Marlena's phone call was letting Candus know Chatty Boy is on his way in there to meet up with you. And so she went down to meet up with Chatty Boy. Chad didn't want his phone, just like Chad had Marlena hit PG up, right? I didn't reach out to Marlena. Marlena reached out to me after the little visit up to the cemetery. And I knew that Marlena was reaching out to me for Chad, not for herself. Chad wanted to know what all we knew about this cemetery. He's worried about this cemetery. And therefore he wants her to be reaching out. And that's what he did on June the 15th, 2021 with Candus. Right? That's why you see Marlena's phone number on Candus's phone instead of Chad's. Because this is how these motherfuckers work. It's how criminals work. Do I blame them? Do I blame them? Hell no. They're trying to stay out of prison. They're criminals. They're evil people. You shouldn't fuck with them. They're trying to stay out of prison. Can you blame someone for that? No. Can you blame them for being criminals? Yes. You shouldn't be a criminal. But the point being is, if I was a criminal, I wouldn't want to go to jail either. Right? That's just common sense. But the point being is, they met up down there. Candus follows this guy out of there. And in my opinion, she had Summer in the car. She had a black tote in that car. And she followed him wherever, they went. And I believe it was over to Morrison Cemetery. I think when Andy Bernard said it's done, he meant that, they was ready. They was ready to put, the hole was dug. We're ready to put her down in there, cover it up before we start making 911 calls. The police ain't going to ever know that she's down in there. When Andy Bernard was talking to us about, the cemetery over there and how no one would even suspect it because everybody knows everybody. And there's, they're just not going to look. I knew he had said this before. I knew that this conversation had done damn happened before it ever got out here. I knew that this conversation had done happened on Ben Hill fucking Road on the 14th at the bottom of the damn property. I already knew. Okay? Because he said it with too much ease. I've been around people. I've been around too many people who say things that have already damn been said. Just saying. So I know that it was already said. It was already planned. That's what the hell they were doing down on the bottom of the property. That's why they ran old Jackie Dobbs the hell out of there. This stuff was already all set up. This baby, this little bitty innocent child was standing around being plotted against by her own fucking family and the assholes, neighbors surrounding this child. Okay? You want to talk about some sick shit? That's sick. That's sick when you got evil, your own family, and the assholes surrounding them, plotting against you. And you're just 5 years old. Innocent as the day is long. And they're sitting there, plotting against you because they allow something evil to happen to you that they don't want to get fixed because they don't want to go to prison. And they're going to fix you and save their own asses, right? They're going to fix you all right. They're going to fix you so you ain't around no more. That's what that little girl, just imagine being 5 years old down there at the bottom of that property on June 14th, 2021, surrounded by a bunch of evil fucks that are plotting to destroy you the very next day and stick you in a grave across the road. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. Just imagine that. And I'm going to tell you, they wasn't just plotting it, baby. They carried that out. They carried it out. Put it one in the chat if you agree. They carried it out. These motherfuckers are so evil, they carried it out. Wow. Yeah. I'm going to tell you, they're not afraid of hell. They're not afraid to go to hell. These are mother freakers that think they're going to have a big party in hell. You know, they're not afraid to go to hell. There's going to be a lot of people they know in both places. That's what people like them say. I don't care if we go to heaven or hell. I'm going to know people in both places. Because they ain't smart enough to understand what hell truly is. And how they're going to wish they could have been born again and mother a fucking do-over. They're going to wish they could have a do-over, because if they could have a do-over, they wouldn't have been anywhere near Ben Hill Road themselves. Right? Let alone plotting some stuff against an innocent child and all the other dirty shit they've done in their life. They wish they wasn't nowhere near there. But you know what? They was. They was. And this is what was going on. And you know, if nobody else wants to speak the truth for Summer Wells, I will. But I won't sit back and hear people, you know, trying to what is the word for it? Trying to discredit me as if I would, you know, hold something back that would benefit Summer. I ain't going to be listening to that shit. I'm not going to be listening to that shit. I got my priorities in this life. And I'm going to tell you something. Protecting children's number one. Whether it be my own or anyone else's. That's number one. I'm going to tell you something about somebody leaving their child with me. You leave your child with me and your child becomes my child until you pick it up. What I'm saying is I will protect your child just as I would my own. And a hell of a lot of people won't. There's a hell of a lot of people ain't going to protect your child like it's their own. But I do. I do. And I'd be damned. I will be damned if I have any fucking of my credibility questioned. Don't question my fucking credibility. I have been out here and worked diligently for summer and all of these missing kids. And when I do, I bring the truth to the table and nothing but the truth. And I can prove it. I bring receipts. Unlike these other motherfuckers that don't have no damn receipts, I bring them. I bring them to the table. I'm going to tell you now, I ain't had a good night's sleep in 4.5 damn years. I haven't had a good night's sleep. This case right here has consumed me. It has consumed me. Every second I had available, I put it on this case. I think I've done way more than an average person would have ever done for this little girl. Just saying. And you know, it kind of upsets me that one of my own people would question me like that. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little upset that one of my own people would even question my judgment. Just saying. I'm going to tell you, you can look from one end of this earth to the other. You ain't going to find, you will not find another PG. You ain't going to find another person as honest and as upright and as God-fearing and law-abiding and kind, caring, and loving, and respectful, and patient as PG is. I tell you that right now. I know myself. I know who I am. I put a lot in to becoming who I am today. I'm going to tell you something. PG just didn't pop up overnight. It was a lot of hard work learning to walk the righteous path. A lot of hard work becoming who I am today. How do you know yourself? You know yourself because you were there and you busted your ass to become different from the people who surrounded you. It would have been easy to be evil like them. You had to fight to be different, to be what you wanted to be. And that was nothing like those evil bastards that put you through hell. Just saying. I'm faithful to everyone unless they give me reason not to be. I'm going to tell you, I can be your bestest friend if you know how to be a friend. Or I can be your worst motherfucking nightmare. I let people make that choice for themselves. But it's the truth. That's who and what I am. And that is exactly who and what every human should be. Every human should be a best friend until a person chooses not to let them be. You should always treat people with the utmost respect. Always do them right until they give you reason not to. And then you should just leave them alone. You should just leave them alone. Just want nothing to do with them. Leave them alone. Unless they won't let you. Some people won't let you. Some people are like a thorn in your side. They won't let you. Just leave them alone. And then sometimes you got to get ugly. You got to get very ugly. Oh, I can get ugly. I have no problem with getting ugly. Trust me. I didn't see nothing but ugly my whole life. So it ain't hard. But I don't like to. I don't like to. I wish I didn't have to. If I do. And that's the truth. And I've always been that way. I want to love and care about everybody. I want everybody to love and care about one another. I want it to be heaven on earth. That's what I want. I just want it to be heaven on earth. You know how much, I tell you how rare kindness is. You want me to tell you how rare kindness is? I tell you how rare it is. When people are kind to you today, you want to thank them for being kind. Because very damn few people are. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with that. You actually want to thank them for being kind to you. Something that they should be anyway. But everybody isn't. And that's the truth. And I'm going to tell you something that makes me sad. It makes me sad. Because you know what? There was a time when you didn't have to want to thank people for their kindness. People were just kind. They were just caring. They were just loving. Once upon a time, people were like that. And they're not anymore. People pick on you for no reason. They come at you for no reason. You don't have to do nothing. You know, they take stuff you say and they want to twist it. You don't know why. Sometimes you get tired of wondering why, right? I hope so. I hope God blesses us all, sweetie. I really do. I hope he blesses us all. You know, I'm one of those people, you know, I just came, you know, today. Matter of fact, today, I was asking someone, I said, how come when people know how to do something, they don't want to teach someone else to do it? They want to act like it's a secret. Like, you know, they don't want, you know, They don't want nobody else being able to do it. Just them. Why do they do that? You know? Because if I know something, I want everybody to know. What I'm saying is, if I know how to make a certain recipe, I want everybody to know. I mean, I will teach you. If I know how to fix something, I will tell you how to fix it. If I know what, you should take for this or that, I will tell you. I have no problem because I know if I teach you, you're going to teach someone else, or at least I hope. You're going to teach someone else, and they're going to teach someone. And and that's how you keep living. That's how you keep living even after you're gone. By what you instill in others, it keeps going forward, even when you're no longer here. And I think that's a beautiful thing to teach people. But there's some people, they don't want to teach other people. Like, like they want to be superior to someone else. And I don't get that. I don't like that. I don't understand that. Right? It's just not who I am. I always wish the best for everybody. But I see a lot of people that don't wish the best, for no one. They want the best wish for them. They want you to be excited for them. But they can't be excited for you. They're too busy being maybe envious or jealous, or I don't know what it is. But I thank God that I don't have those issues. I thank God every day for making me who I am. I wouldn't want to be any other way. And that's the truth. I just don't understand. I don't understand, people who don't want to make other people's lives better. Ain't that why we're here? Isn't that why we're on the face of this earth? Is to make one another's lives a better place to be. I think it is. I think it is.
Tennessee, the state might drop abuse charges if a parent voluntarily gives up rights termination of parental rights, TPR, because TPR often serves the child's best interest by providing stability, but it doesn't erase the past abuse. However, criminal charges focus on punishing the crime, while TPR focuses on the child's future. And if a parent chooses to terminate rights, the state might agree if it helps achieve permanent placement like adoption and resolves the immediate safety risk, but they can still pursue criminal action separately if warranted by the severity of the abuse.
I'm sorry, you guys. The uncle is back. The uncle is back. Checking on PG. Like I'm going to disappear. I'm like, okay. You guys got to excuse PG. You gotta excuse me. I am like, I am not at home. I am not in my comfort zone right now. I am not comfortable. Okay. I'm not comfortable. I'm big as a mother freaking house. I wanted to walk around. I wanted to see Disney. You know, I wanted to do all of these things. And in my head, I thought I could. And, you know, and found out that it wasn't happening like that. You know, what I thought and what is two different things. And I thought, I also thought that, we came here and the uncles was going to have some fun and they was going to be out and, doing all this stuff. And the one ain't going to be watching me constantly. And I did get rid of him for about 4 hours this evening, but he's back, right? I'm back. Yeah. I just hope you don't decide to come back in, and I don't have a chair behind me. What I got behind me right now is a bed, right? Mine and my husband's bedroom, which my husband isn't in here because he knows I'm live. So he's out there in the living room or kitchen. If he's even came back with his with this uncle, I don't know if he's even, I don't know who. They took 2 cars, so I don't know who's back and who isn't back right now. But if my husband is back, he's out there because he knows I'm doing a live. But the uncle is back. He's done came in twice. Let me know he's back. I just hope he don't come in, decide to sit on the bed back there, fall asleep, and start snoring. Right? I'm going to tell you. This is the shit I go through. This is real life. This is real life stuff, y'all. I don't know. I'm going to tell you what. If my water breaks and this baby's about to come, oh, let me tell you something. First words that uncle's going to hear is, oh my goodness, you got to catch it. You got to catch it. That's what I want to tell him. I'm going to freak him out before I go to the hospital. I'm going to be like, no, we ain't got time. You got to catch it. Yeah, we'll see him run then, right? We'll see him run then. Or then again, he might be crazy enough to be like, where's it at? Think it's going to fly out like a freaking football and he can catch it. I don't even know what he's thinking. This is weird. But anyway, you can see, that even though they terminated the parental rights, Don and Candus terminated their parental rights by signing the kids over. They still can be held accountable for the charges put against them. They can still be held accountable for this, and just because you terminated your parental rights doesn't mean you cannot in the future be prosecuted for the charges that was originally there. That's just kind of in limbo, right? Right here, this is Dawn, supposedly. It was just so odd the day before Summer disappeared, that DCS came with a woman I'd never seen before. She kept looking at the upper eaves of the outside of the house on the same spots cameras might be. When it was happening, I remember taking a mental note of it. I can't get that out of my mind. Don Wells. Don Wells takes a mental note. Right. That motherfucker is just mental, if you ask me. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. Right there. I'm going to tell you. No, look at this. I'll tell you what she was looking at. Look at up there around the top of the house. She was looking at, for one, there was no CPS at their house the day before. Now, I'm not doubting that there wasn't a caseworker up there, prior to, to Summer coming up missing. There was a caseworker that, had to come out and evaluate the situation because the teachers, not one, not two, but a bunch of teachers and a principal called into Child Protective Services and reported Candus attacking Summer. So the caseworker, they opened a case, and that was at the boys' school. This all happened at the boys' school. And so they opened a case, and the caseworker had to get up here, to see what's going on. Now, I'm not doubting that the caseworker wasn't up here, but she wasn't up there on the 13th, 14th, or 15th, or, or even the 16th. Wasn't even up there on the 16th. I'll just let you know that. But anyhow, I want to tell you what. No caseworker showed up on the 16th as well. And the case was not closed, but CPS did not show up till later, after Summer came up missing. Matter of fact, they didn't even take the boys until 2 weeks, 2 weeks or more before they even took the boys. So with that being said, I think it was 16 days before the boys were removed. It was 16 days. Anyhow, when they came up there, what they was looking at, and I'm sure they did look, Don, I don't even think Don was there. I think he talked to Candus. And I think Candus, told him, Don probably asked, did they come out? And she said yes. And, and they probably, like Allison said, Candus wasn't even answering the door. And Candus was probably hiding inside the house, just like they watched Tim Mullins out in the yard, right? They was watching Tim and laughing and seeing everything he was doing. And I'm sure that Candus was watching. And she probably heard Don was laughing because she said the caseworker's outside looking all around and up, up at the top of the house and this and that. Well, I'm sure she was, because look up here. Look, that right there, the top of this house right here, down through there, you see where all them pieces are missing? At the eve of this house, there's stuff all up there. It's all dirty, and there's pieces missing. Well, those pieces had to fall down here somewhere. And that is a safety hazard to children. That is a safety hazard to children, with those, those sharp pieces falling out of there, coming down on, could possibly hurt a child. It could put an eye out. It could, it could do a lot of damage to a child. Not only that, but a child could step on it and it could hurt, it could cause, then you have to get a tetanus shot, right? Or set up infection. So with that being said, yes, they're looking around. They're definitely looking, you got all this wiring hanging, you've got, windows broken, you've got, an unsecure air conditioning up here that could fall out. These are all hazardous things. And that's what a caseworker does. A caseworker has to take note of all this hazardness outside and inside the home, right? So, with that being said, I'm sure Candus was sitting inside, laughing her fucking ass off as this caseworker is out there seeing all of this as you're seeing hazardous waste that's going on. I mean, they have an add-on over here that actually looks like it's ready to, rot away and drop away from the house. Whoever did this really did not know what they was doing. And even at not knowing what you're doing, they didn't, secure it with paint, or, at least you could put paint that would deter the water and the rot and everything. But you're supposed to put siding. You're supposed to actually, put felt paper and then siding over top of that, and weather proof it so that the elements don't get to it. And they done none of this. I mean, they're just shabby, right? They're just shabby as hell in what they do. They don't pick up, they don't clean up, they don't do anything. And I'm sure that this worker was out there walking around, taking notes of, all of this stuff. Or possibly, if it was my case, if I was the caseworker and had to go up here, I'm not getting out of my fucking car. I'm sorry to tell you, I'm not getting out of the car. I'm going to blow the horn because they got a bunch of animals, right? They got a bunch of animals. I'm going to blow the horn and blow the horn and blow the horn. And if they don't come out or listen, then I'm going to drive around this loop they've got, and I'm going to take note of everything. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to take note to what vehicles were parked up there at the time. That allows me to know, if these people were home or not when I come back with law enforcement. I'm going to, and when I do come back, I'm going to also take note if any extra vehicles are there as well, like, for instance, Dom Wells' truck happens to show up there, then I know, that obviously this woman had to be home if this is her husband's work truck and it was the only vehicle missing at the time I came before. Then I know that, they were home and she was just trying to avoid everything. And if she's trying to avoid everything and she's got something to hide, then we need to put in a request to remove the children, right? If you're not willing to open the door and speak with child, services, and let them see everything. I mean, if you ain't doing nothing wrong, you ain't going to have a problem opening your door and inviting them in. You're not going to have a problem with any of this. But if you do not open the door, then obviously, you got something to hide. And if you're that afraid and you've got that much to hide, those kids shouldn't be there. That's just how I would rule with a situation like this. And I would want the kids removed. I would want them, put through a medical examination, to see if they're malnutrition, to see if there's bruises or marks on them. I would want law enforcement up there. I would actually, get a hold of, the main supervisor of child protective, the main supervisor, and I would tell her, what I want is her to, get a judge to sign off on going back and removing these kids for medical evaluation, because this lady ain't opening the door, probably got a lot to hide, and we want to know why. So those kids would have definitely been taken and examined immediately by doctors to see if anything's going on. And I think if they would have took these kids, examined them by doctors, they wouldn't have been going back to this house. That's just my opinion. But, caseworkers, they really don't want to go to houses like this. They don't really want to, get involved, because if you take those 4 kids into, if you have law enforcement take these 4 kids, for instance, out of there, and you take them back, to holding, for placement in a foster care. Well, if there's no place to place these kids, available immediately, like say they can't place them till the next day, you are responsible to stay with these kids, to watch over these kids as a caseworker. You are responsible, and you've got to stay with them until they're placed. That is part of your job. And that's another reason a lot of caseworkers just don't want to do their job, because that's going to keep them from going home or going out to dinner or going wherever the hell they're going. It's going to hold them up. It's going to hold them up from their real life. And they don't want to be held up, right? Not only that, but CPS don't have company cars. They don't have a company car. Your vehicle is the company car. And you have to put these children in your vehicle when you move them out of there. They go into your vehicle and they're transported with you. And if they got scabies and they've got lice and they've got ringworms and they've got impetigo and they've got all this stuff, remember, your children have to be in that vehicle too. So that is a big deterrence from caseworkers doing their job as well, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me. I mean, all of these things is just a big damn deterrence from people doing their job. And that's why a lot of kids ain't removed until something serious happens, the way it happened to Summer Moon Utah Wells, right? That's the problem. Hey, gifted 5 Prayer Garden America memberships. Hey, 40, I appreciate that. I do. I really appreciate that. God bless. Absolutely. Yeah, 45. That is cute. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Absolutely, Miss Justice. 40. How generous. Thank you so much. Yes, and it's a gift that we'll keep giving. We are so appreciative of your gift. And support for Summer's channel. God bless you, honey. God bless you. Aw. And she said, and God bless you. You are a sweetheart. Girl, you're after PG's heart. You're after my heart. Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, you got all these things that's deterring people, Child Protective Services or DCS or whatever, from doing their job. You just got them. These caseworkers, they have more reasons not to do it than reasons to do it, right? But here's my thing. It's like a soldier in the army, right? It's like a soldier in the army. If I sign up to do a job, by God, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. If that's what I signed up for, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to do it. Right? I'm going to stick on my steel-toe boots, my blue jeans, my sweatshirt. I'm going to pull my hair back in a damn ponytail, honey, and I'm going to get out there and I'm going to save these kids. I'm going to make sure. I don't give a damn what these parents got to say. I see them as suspects. And I see those children as victims. And I'm going to save those victims because that's what we're there for, right? That's what we are there for. I'm not here for the parents. I'm here for those kids. And by God, if they need to be taken out of there, I'm going to take them out of there. And I'm going to put them in that vehicle. And I'm going to take them. And if I ain't able to go home, if they can't get placed, I don't care if they can't get placed for a week. Well, I'm going to figure out how to spend a week with them and take care of them until they can be placed. Because you know what? When you got a job, you damn do it. That's what you got. You get paid for it, and that's what you signed up for. So you get your ass in there and you do it. And you do it right. You don't, I'm not out here to make friends. I'm out here to do my job. So don't smile at me. Don't, talk and snigger and giggle and think that, you're going to gaslight my ass, because you ain't gaslighting me at all. You ain't going to gaslight me. I'm going to immediately, within 5 minutes, I'm going to understand if you are worth my time and help to keep your children, or if you ain't worth the salt that goes in your bread and your children need to be took. And I'm going to know that in 5 minutes. I'm going to know that by looking at you. I'm going to know that by looking at those children. And I'm going to know that by looking through that home and around that home. And if you ain't worth the salt in your bread, which, look at this place. Take a look at it. Honey, you ain't seen nothing yet. You have not seen nothing yet. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at what they did to this little girl. Let's take a look at how they lied. Said she wanted her hair cut like her brothers. You tell me which one of these boys got their hair cut like that. Tell me. Because not a damn one of them, not a damn one, has their hair cut like that. I'm going to tell you, it's hard for me to look at this picture. This picture brings tears to PG's eyes. This picture makes me want to cry. And I'm going to tell you, I'm a very strong person. Very strong person. But that picture makes me want to sit down and just cry for this little girl. Who the fuck can do this? Who could do this to a child? I don't even know. You have to be a special kind of evil to do what they done to her. A special kind of fucking evil. They want to post all of this like they're so good. No. Why don't we go back here? Why don't we go back here and see the real them? Let's see the real Don and Candus Wells. And this is what I'm talking about. Not worth the salt in their bread. They want to gaslight mother freakers with this. But this was the truth. And this is what needed to be focused on. And then babies needed to be taken out of there and saved. And Summer could have been saved too if CPS, DCS, what the fucking hell, whatever they are, would have been doing their damn job. And that's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. These people need to get off their asses and they need to do what they're being paid to do. And that's to save these kids before they end up like Summer. Let's take a look at this. Look at that. Look at this. Look at this place. Really? You're going to go up here and leave children there? You're going to leave? Look at this. Who in God's name would leave children in this? I don't even know. I don't even know. Look at that place. Oh my God. Really? Look at that. Look at that. This is nothing. You could tell that these parents had a serious issues with this man working all the time, right? And two women there. You could tell they got some serious mother freaking issues going on. They got some serious drug problems. They got some serious alcohol issues. They got some serious shit going on. Because you know what? Everything in that place was pure junk. Mother freaking garbage. This guy is working. He works all these hours and he gets paid damn good money. And they ain't got a working refrigerator. They ain't got a new refrigerator. They ain't got a new stove. They ain't got a new microwave. They ain't got new decent stuff. They ain't got bed railings. They got their fucking beds up on cement blocks. Right? Their fucking bed is up on cement blocks. Come on, y'all. Those kids should have been took. They should have been took ASA fucking P. They should have been taken out of there. Look at this. No way I'd have left kids there. No way. Hell no. Hell no. And I'm going to tell you, if teachers and a principal and everybody's reporting a child being viciously attacked by a parent, I'm going to go there. I'm going to remove these kids. Like I said, they need to, they got to get medical. They got to get put through medical before we can ever hand them back. They got to go through medical. And they would be leaving from there straight to a medical center to be checked. And I'm going to tell you something. Not only that, but I would tell them parents right now, when the kids got took out of there, I'd hand it Dawn, Candus, and Grandis. I just said, who are you? Oh, you're the grandmother? Well, here you go. You all got to do pest test. If you don't want to do the pest test, Grandma, then you better load up your camper and pull it the hell on out of here. Because if you don't do it, you ain't going to be able to be here on this property. If you're here on this property and you're subject to these children, you will take a test just like everybody else. And they would have all been taking it. And I'm going to tell you, the kids wouldn't have got returned because not a damn one of them could pass it. They couldn't pass it. You got to be rug and alcohol free. You got to be both. And ain't a damn one of them, not a damn one of them was free of all of that. And until they was, then they have to do random drops. Random. I'd be up there every other fucking day. Every other day. I'd be up there handing them a thing. I'd tell them, oh no, it's not for 30 days. It's for 90. It's for 90 days. I'd be up there 2 or 3 times a week. And I'd tell them, after a couple of weeks, I just let them know, if you guys don't go into rehab, the kids can't come back. You got to go and you got to take rehab, or the children cannot come back. And everybody's got to take it. Not somebody, everybody. And I tell you what, those kids would have all been saved. Right? They'd have all been saved. Why? Because I believe in doing my job. I believe in doing my job. Look at this. Oh, God, have mercy. Look at that. Look at this. And that is them trying to clean it up. That was, this is them trying to make it look better. And it still didn't fucking look good, right? It still didn't look good. Oh my gosh, look at this mattress. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people been talking about this mattress. They're saying that, them stains are consistent with a child's head and hands being held down. And you know what? I have to agree. That's what it looks like. Put a 1 in the chat if that's what it looks like to you. That's definitely what it looks like to me as well. And why this mattress and that sheet was not taken into evidence and sent to forensics to see if there was, what the hell that is. I don't know. Like I said, they dropped the ball. Law enforcement really dropped the ball on Little Summers' case. They dropped the ball. I cannot believe that, they dropped the ball so bad and then still allowed these son of bitches to terminate their parental rights to avoid prosecution. I can't believe that they let these fuckers save their asses again. In my opinion, they destroyed this little girl to save their asses. They signed their kids away to save their asses. It's been all about saving their asses. And I cannot believe that law enforcement and the court system has allowed them to save their asses like this. It's hard to believe, right? Very hard to believe. Just saying. Look at that. And believe it or not, this is when they try to clean it up. This is when they was trying to clean it up. Just imagine what it looked like beforehand. God have mercy, right? God have mercy. Unbelievable. Look at that. Wow. I can't believe it. This place was a mess. A freaking mess. I mean, it could have been, this is something, it could have been a beautiful place. It could have been a beautiful place with the right people. The right people would have, taken down. They would have took this building down and put a new one. At the bottom of that property, they would have took that down and built like, a guest house down there, a nice guest house down there at the bottom like that, that they could go down and let the kids ride their bikes and everything, and play on on that big flat land down there. And then up on the hill, they could have had a really, a really nice 1-floor plan, right? They could have had a real nice 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, 1-floor plan. Nice dining room, big living room, kitchen. They could have had a really sweet home up there for pennies. For pennies. Don worked. He worked in, in construction. And he could have had a beautiful home built up there on that hill. 4 or 5-bedroom home for pennies. 1-floor plan up there. It already had, the gas and electric and water. Everything was up there. All he had to do is take that one down, level it, and put a new one in. But they didn't. Right? Didn't do it. But he absolutely, if they're so innocent, why did they terminate their parental right? Why would they, put a 1 in the chat. If you would have played hell, if you were innocent, put a 1 in the chat. If you were innocent, you would have played hell, given up your children. Hell no. Hell no. No. Innocent people don't agree to give up their parental rights. Innocent people would tell Child Protective Services, I will play hell before you fucking take my kids. I will work 3 fucking jobs and pay 20 attorneys to show up at that court and wipe your mother freaking backside for you before you take my kids. Right? There ain't no way in hell will you take my kids if I'm innocent. The only way they're going to take your kid is if you're not innocent. If you're scared, your ass is going to get prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and end up in prison, and your kids are going to be gone anyway. That's the only way you're going to do that. And you had to do some serious shit. You had to have some serious shit on you if you was worried about that, right? There must have been some real serious dirt on you. Just saying. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. I want to ask Don and Candus, why the hell would you terminate your parental rights if you're so fucking innocent? That's the question for you, Don and Candus. Why don't you come out? Why don't you come out and explain it? Why don't you come out and explain why you did that? We all would like to know. Summer's Army would love to know. Right. Just saying. But anyway, Don, you know what I'm going to talk about tomorrow night, Donald? Because I know that you're in the bushes. You and Candus. If your ass ain't got your nose stuck in it, I know she does. Definitely. She's like Day Day. She's like the Day Day. She hangs in till the last second, right? Till the last sip is gone. The last sip is gone. Well, I'm going to tell you what we're talking about tomorrow night. We're going to talk about Andy. Yeah. I'd like to know if the Andy connected to to Arkansas is the Andy connected to your property. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow night. So you probably want to be here for that. You're probably going to want to be here for that. Right? All right, you guys. PG's going to get out of here, but we will be back tomorrow night to talk about Andy. And then right after we talk about Andy, we are going to have a little Christmas special for all of these missing children tomorrow night as we go out of our live den. We do not want to forget about these babies who is celebrating Christmas in heaven. You know, Jesus is the reason for the season. And these babies, well, they're with the baby. They're with the baby that was born here on Christmas, walked this earth, and died on that cross so we could have eternal life. They're there with him. Don't you wish we was too? Don't you wish that we were there with Jesus? Wouldn't it be beautiful to be in heaven and not worrying about this evil world down here? Wouldn't that be nice? Absolutely. It would be beautiful, wouldn't it? You know what? One day we will be. One day we'll be with Jesus too. We'll see all those babies that was done so wrong upon this evil earth. We'll be there too. And I'll tell you what a glorious day that'll be. And it'll be forever. Amen. It'll be forever. So keep on the right path, you guys. Stay on the right path. Even if PG doesn't, you need to stay on it. You stay on that right path, because I'm about to get off of it a little bit right now. I'm about to get off the path just a little, not much, but I'm about to, because you all need to see this. Here they come. Here they come off of Ben Hill Road. Now I'm going to tell you, tomorrow is Christmas Eve, you guys. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve. These guys are already dressed. They're already dressed. They're coming off of Ben Hill right there. Take a look. Here they come. Yeah, make sure. Ladies, I'm talking to you ladies. Make sure you hide your undies. Make sure to hide your undies. If you got 60 undies, make sure you hide them. Because you know what Don likes to get. And they already dressed up like Santa Claus. They already dressed up like Santa. So hide your undies. Might want to put them under your mattress. I don't know. Just saying. Might want to put them in the dryer. Right? Might want to put them in the dryer, because I heard Don don't look for clean ones. He don't look for the clean ones. He looks for the dirty ones. But, you know, make sure you hide them. Hide them undies, because here they come. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. They're ready. They're ready. And here's what it's going to look like. Here's what it's going to look like, y'all. When if they get in your area, and somehow they get down your chimney. Here's what it's going to look like right there. You see what Don's got in his hands? You see what he's got in his hands? Yeah, I'm telling you, old boy right there. He makes sure, and he likes red ones. He likes red ones. That's his favorite color, is red, right? Favorite color is red. There's the Grinch. The Grinch that I've been framed for years. The Grinch ain't the one still in Christmas, right? The Grinch ain't the one still in Christmas. the gas bill, electric bill, phone bills, car payments, rent. Poor Grinch has been taking the blame all these years for all those places, all those other places collecting our money. He's poor thing. I feel sorry for the Grinch. I feel sorry for him. Right there he is. Look at him. He's so upset. He thought he was still in Christmas. He was so happy. He was still in Christmas every year. And look at him now. Found out he got framed. Oh my goodness. Poor feller. God bless him. All right. God bless him. Especially the baby one. I love the baby Grinch. That was my favorite. But anyway, keep the prayers going up. I had to give you guys something to lighten the mood, right? We need something to lighten the mood now and then. So I figured this would do it. But keep those prayers going up. Keep them going up for Summer. Keep them going up. Sebastian, Michael, Jack and Lily. Keep them going up for Emmanuel. Keep them going up for the little girl. I can't remember this baby's name. It's a beautiful little girl. Her mother, she's 9 years old. Keep them going up for her and the family, the distant family that loves her so much as well. It's what a tragedy. But keep the prayers going up. Too many children being destroyed on this earth. God be with us. God be with us. Keep those prayers going up for one another as well, you guys. Keep them going up for one another. Family that prays together, stays together. And God put us together for summer. He put us together for summer. So make sure we send those prayers up for one another. In the name of his son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Keep those prayers going up. And pray for PG. Pray for me. I can use prayers right now. I can definitely use some. I wouldn't ask if I didn't need them. So please send those prayers up for me and my family as well. All right, everybody. Good night. God bless. Much love.